Hello, everybody. Today is May 28th, 2025. Just want to make a date as a record. So to update this conversion of a 6.2 system from a typical two speaker system. This system, I am using it as I call it a hallway space because it is a hallway. It's not a room at all. And I have used this space to listen to two speaker stereo, typical stereo, and a traditional stereo and preamp and power amp DA converter and a laptop using as a streamer, very traditional way. And I am converting this into a 6.2 six speaker, two subwoofer system, and use this as a integrated separate system experiment. Now I am going to put a link to the original integrated separate system video in the description so you can go back and take a look and what is the concept. But I'm going to go through this and show you what it means by that. That basically, let me zoom in a little bit. Now, I know you're not seeing anything right now, but let me turn on the light. Integrated separate system, the idea was using a single power supply semi-remotely. In this case, I have this power supply hidden at the corner right there. And if I swing back to the listening chair, you see it's almost 15-20 feet away. Okay, so that transformer buzzed a little bit. I know that. The core have a little bit of problem of buzzing. The manufacturer actually knows that too. I'm not using that as a production, but I can use it for personal use. And since I'm putting this 15 feet away from my listening chair, it's hardly notice it. Anyway, integrated separate system is using a single power supply to power multiple channel, multiple speaker, not just two speaker, multiple, as many as you want, but coming from a single power supply source. In this case, this is a 1200 watt power supply. These are the output stage DC power. These three are the DC power again, but it's for the input stage. Excuse me. This is a single power cord from a single AC power source. And this section is the output stage capacitor pack, and this section under there is the input stage capacitor pack. And then it run multiple cable. If you see there's multiple cable going through here, and these are the DC cable going to the multiple output stage, and this one is a 10 gauge power DC power cable going to the rear, and eventually it's going to be the side channel. And right now it's running the two audience channel and also the main front stage front channel, and these two are going to the rear stage front channel. And this is the low voltage DC power cord going to the preamp. So if you can follow this, this is the AC power cord going in, but these four are DC. These three are output start power stage, and this is the low current, low voltage input stage. And right now it's only powering the preamp, but it can also power a DA converter with my design. And I'm not using my design, my DA converter in this system currently. I'm using a 1990s 1644 DA converter right now. So if you follow this, these two go to that amp and driving this speaker, and then go back. This one go into this side, going to that amp and driving this speaker. These two are the rear stage front, and if you follow this big thick wire going to here, I'm keeping this line so there's one piece left so I can use it for dusting. And this platform, it used to be my amplifier. I put it right in the middle, but I took it out, and this space is going to be the two subwoofer that I'm going to put on soon, probably next week and a half from now. So this is a 10 gauge wire going to keep going, and go into this junction, and this junction, and separate into 2 yellow pieces of wire. Each one is going to that amp right there, and powering this front stage front. And the other side, oops, where's my stick? Pointy stick. That's another piece of yellow wire going to there, and that is another channel power the another front stage front, and follow back to here, going to this junction. That's another 10 gauge wire going to the back, follow all the way to the back, and see if we can go here and then go up there. This is the 50 watts audience channel, the rear channel, the 2 speakers behind the listening chair. Now each one of these amps has volume control. This is the volume control for this amp, and you can also see this amp here has its own volume control, and this is an input jack, speaker output. Now these 3 jacks are all linked, and in this case the blue wire coming from the preamp and the red wire going to the rear stage front. So they are linked that way, so I don't have to run individual long wire. Now the blue cable is coming looped here and go back here. I know it's long, it's too long, but I'm not going to cut it right now. Whole bunch of tools that I'm working on, and going to this Cookie Can preamp. Now this Cookie Can preamp, these two are going to the front, and the single-ended cables are going to the back. Now if you're wondering what this is a 9 farad plus and minus 35 volt capacitor pack, and I am going to hook this up into this system soon. I just have to figure out what I did, so when I turn it on, the magic smokes are keeping inside under the cover. I don't want the magic smoke come out. So back to this Cookie Can preamp. This Cookie Can preamp, signal coming from the DA converter, and then this is the laptop that I'm running for the music, and this is the preamp output stage going to this 2 splitter. My splitter is silicone coated. I don't need the fancy marking, fancy casing. So this is my updated 6.2 conversion so far, and I am going to do a separate music tracks, so you can and put my camera cell phone on a more steady platform, so you can hear how it sounds like. Although you can hear what it sounds like, but you're probably not going to hear exactly how it sounds like, but you at least get some idea. Now, so that is what the integrated separate system is about. A single, if I can point it right there, see that 2 little light there? A single power supply powering all this channel. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll see 5, that's there, and 6, that's there. That's 6 channel altogether, coming from the single power supply from there. So I have only 1 power cord. I only need 1 power cord. So 1 power cord is always better than multiple power cord. I would rather run DC power everywhere in a longer distance, and as long as I have pull-up cap, like individual channel like that channel have 120,000 microfarad pull-up capacitor bank. That one has 200. Let me think. It's like 150 plus another 60, 210 per channel. This one have 120 per channel, 210 per channel. The audience channel, 2 channel together is 120. So that's 360 plus 420, so 680. So So 680 plus the whatever that I think it was another 400,000 microfarad as the output stage. I'm not counting the input stage right now. It's only the output stage. So the center power supply has about 400,000 microfarad, and then individual channel has their own pull-up cap, local pull-up cap to handle the transient and dynamic. But I am not running AC wire everywhere. They're all DC. One of the advantages, because of the center ground, it is very quiet. Minimal AC wire running around the room. They're all DC. The DC wire and signal. Now, I am running all the front 4 channels are balanced running, and the rear channel, the two audience channels are single-ended. But it just the centralized ground, it gave me the quietness that I'm gonna throw this in. It's like, I don't use ground box. Ground box is a gimmick, as a polite way to say it. And ground box, I do not use ground box, okay? I just gonna keep it that way. I do not use ground box. I will not recommend any ground box. And if anybody trying to sell me ground box, they can go get lost. Well, I keep it civilized. And talk to me privately. My language will be a little strong on those kind of things. So anyway, coming back to this, I have my way to keep my noise down, which is without using ground box. And some of my XLR cable actually have the shield only connected to one side. In terms of audiophile cable, when you buy audiophile cable, I believe that 99% of them are actually connected both ends. Without asking, if you ask them, they might they might cut one end off from the shield, but I believe they're all connected. The ground pins are connected. It's not just the shield. The ground pins are connected. But in the case of broadcast, a lot of the ground pin one is not connected to both ends. They're only connected to one end. And in this case, the cable between the rear stage front and the front stage front amp, the shield is only connected to the front stage front amp, not the rear stage front amp. So it's only the pin 2 and pin 3, the positive and negative, are connected. Pin 1 is not connected. But the ground is connected via the power supply. So there are tricks that you can use to minimize ground loop, and at this point, it's extremely quiet and a little bit of buzz. If you can hear it from the cell phone, I don't know you can hear it from, I'm using a cell phone to take this video, so I don't know you can hear it, but if I can get close enough to the transformer, you can probably hear some buzz. But let me try. I'm gonna go get back to the transformer and see if you can hear some buzz. Now I am gonna go downstairs, so slide the cell phone into that slot. I think you can hear some buzz. I can hear loud enough if I stand right in front of it, but if I sit 15 feet away, it's minimal, very minimal. I know it's there, so I can hear it, but with a little bit of music, a little bit of noise, background noise, is no way I can hear it. And that's why that little foam piece is always there too. It helps a little. And eventually, I'm probably going to build a little enclosure to cover it up, and it will block a lot more noise. So this is the update. Let me turn this off. Go back to zoom out. You can see more of the layout, and I'm going to scan through from one end to the other. And that is the cookie can, and that is the right audience channel, which is the one that behind me. Cookie can again, and that is the front stage front right, rear stage front right channel, and then rear stage front left channel, front stage front left channel, and then you swing back into this, and that's the left channel audience behind the one that's behind me. And this is not an ideal room. You can see the big space there, and that's my closet. And you can see that in another video. That's my closet right there. So on my left hand side, it's completely open. It's an L-shaped thing. This is a hallway, and that's a toilet. You can actually see that's a toilet, and that's a staircase going downstairs. And we go up there, and I have not a bulkhead, but this is a 16 feet high. I wouldn't call it cathedral ceiling, but it's high ceiling on above my head. This is the position above my head. If I come down here, I get a roof. This line there to the floor is only 6 feet 5, maybe 6 feet 6. That's about it, or maybe even a little lower. So it's rather low ceiling, and I'm 6, so I can tiptoes and almost hit my head to the roof. So it is possible to have very good sound in a not ideal space. It's just a matter of how far you're willing to go. Of course, if you don't like this messy wire on the ground, you can actually run a little longer wire and just route them around the room. You don't have to have all the wire on the floor in front of you, but I don't mind. I live alone. I'm single. Nobody lives with me. I won't let anybody that cannot handle wire like this come in, and that's the way I am. And if you have to live with somebody else, then you might have to compromise, and you might have to hide the wire away, and that's things has to hide it away. And again, this all my stuff are open frame, no box, no cage, and I like it that way. So that's the end of this story today, and I'm gonna take some music videos so I can also post that you can hear different music in how it sounds so far. And I have done a little bit of tweaking, but not perfect, but still you can hear it. Anyway, until next time, bye.